Sergeant James Carter sat in the dimly lit barracks, staring at the worn-out photograph in his hands. It was a picture of his wife, Emily, and their newborn daughter, Lily. The war had taken him far from home, and tonight, as the cold wind howled outside the base, he longed for the warmth of his family. But he knew he had a duty to fulfill. James was deployed in Afghanistan, a part of an elite unit assigned to a high-risk mission. Intelligence reports indicated a terrorist hideout deep in the mountains, and his team had been ordered to neutralize the threat. The mission was dangerous, but he had been in worse situations before. This time, however, something felt different. Perhaps it was the fatigue of years in service or the distant voice in his mind whispering that not everyone would make it back. As he prepared for the mission, he pulled out a notebook and started writing. "My dearest Emily, if you're reading this, it means I didn't make it back. I know this letter won't ease the pain, but I need you to know how much I love you and Lily. You are my light in the darkness, the reason I fight. I only regret not being able to hold you both one last time. Please tell Lily her father loved her more than life itself." He hesitated for a moment, his heart heavy, then continued. "Promise me you'll live, Em. Don't let grief chain you to the past. Be strong for our daughter. And if life gives you another chance at happiness, take it. You deserve joy, love, and laughter." James folded the letter and tucked it into his uniform. He would leave it with his belongings just in case. The mission began at dawn. Helicopters roared as they carried James and his team toward the rugged mountains. The tension was thick, yet James focused on the task ahead. As they descended into enemy territory, gunfire erupted, shattering the silence. The firefight was brutal. James and his team moved swiftly, taking cover behind rocks and returning fire. The enemy was well prepared, and every step forward was met with resistance. The scent of gunpowder filled the air, and the cries of wounded soldiers echoed in the chaos. James spotted a sniper positioned on a ridge. He signaled to his teammate, Corporal Henderson, who nodded and moved to flank the enemy. Just as Henderson took the shot, an explosion rocked the ground, sending James sprawling. His ears rang, his vision blurred. When he looked up, he saw Henderson lying motionless, blood pooling beneath him. Rage fueled James as he pushed forward. He couldn't save Henderson, but he could complete the mission. With precise movements, he led the remaining soldiers through the compound, clearing rooms and securing the objective. When the last enemy fell, silence finally returned, but it was a hollow victory. Too many had been lost. Days later, back at the base, James sat alone, staring at Henderson's empty bunk. He reached for his letter, contemplating whether to add more. He wanted to say how tired he was, how much he wished this war would end. But he left it as it was, sealing his emotions within. The next deployment came sooner than expected. This time, intelligence reported a convoy carrying high-value targets. James and his team were to intercept it. As they moved through the desert under the cover of night, the weight of responsibility pressed heavily on his shoulders. The ambush was swift and brutal. RPGs exploded, bullets rained down, and in the midst of it all, James was hit. Pain shot through his body as he collapsed. His vision blurred, and the sounds of battle faded. He thought of Emily and Lily, of the life he would never return to. In his final moments, he felt peace. He had done his duty. He had fought with honor. His last thought was of Emily's smile and Lily's laughter. A month later, Emily received a knock at the door. Her heart sank when she saw the uniformed officers standing outside. She didn't need to hear the words to know what had happened. Tears streamed down her face as she accepted the folded flag and James's belongings. Later that night, she found the letter. With trembling hands, she unfolded the paper and read his words. Her sobs echoed through the quiet house, but amidst the sorrow, there was also love. James had given her permission to live, to move forward. And though the pain would never fade completely, she promised herself she would honor his wish. She held Lily close and whispered, "Your daddy was a hero.